Coming up on 8:08 now in the Central Time Zone at 8:80 KRVN. Good morning, everybody, on this Wednesday, February the 15th, burning through the month of February. Hope you had a good Valentine's Day yesterday. And, hey, if there wasn't any flowers left at the store and you couldn't get a reservation in the state, just tell her, honey, tonight when we feed the cows, I got the gate. As we look out and across your region, it's time for a look at the weather, where temperatures right now are holding in the 20s for much of the central and eastern part of Nebraska. We've got teens in southwest and the panhandle. Meanwhile, it's low to mid 20s out for a good portion of northwest and central Kansas. Warming up there in the Salina region to the east, now in the low to mid 30s. Right now, we've got a few flakes starting to fall there around Grant, Venango, back towards Imperial this morning, and then we could be seeing some snow actually closer to southeast Colorado. If you know where this town is, good. It is Carville, Colorado. They could be seeing a few snowflakes there as well. Coming up, we're going to check in on the factors influencing the commodity trade here on KRVN. That's brought to you by Grain IQ. They're a grain marketing podcast supported by the Nebraska Soybean Board, along with Ward Laboratories. Hey, make sure you keep up to date with the latest in watches and warnings when you check out KRVN's Facebook page. We're joining Top Third Ag Marketing and Country Futures for factors influencing the commodity trade next.
Next season starts now with Monty's. Revitalize your soil and energize your crops with Monty's unique line of soil and plant nutrient solutions. Whether it's starter fertilizers, Monty's liquid carbon soil conditioner, Humahance, AgroSweet, or micronutrients packages, Monty's has a solution to get you off to a great start next season. Healthy soil, healthy plants, higher yields. Contact Craig Grarholz at 785-476-5037 or visit Monty'sPlantFood.com and ask about their winter discounts. Monty's, trusted advisors with proven solutions.
I'm going to feed the hay I cut anyways, so why bother getting a forage test?
Forage testing with Ward Labs helps you balance key nutrients, prevents underfeeding, and when nitrates are tested, helps mitigate risks tied to nitrates. Knowing your forage's nutritional results is key in calculating supplement inputs and saving you money. This year, a forage analysis will help you make the best decisions to stretch your hay through the drought. For fast and affordable forage testing, trust Ward Labs. To learn more or to submit your sample, visit wardlab.com.
The Grain Marketing Podcast, Grain IQ, can help you stay profitable. In Season 1, guests like Ed Usset will help you make a plan that works for your operation.
There is no one marketing plan in grains. There are two. You have to, again, divide this world between pre-harvest marketing and post-harvest marketing. They're radically different.
Subscribe and listen to Grain IQ on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and online at ruralreadynetwork.com. Grain IQ, a grain marketing podcast supported by the Nebraska Soybean Board.
Good morning, Clay Patton on the Rural Radio Network, and now it's time to take a look at the factors influencing the commodity trade today. And on the line with us from Chicago is Mark Gold with Top Third Ag Marketing. Good morning, Mark.
Well, good morning. Overnight we had March corn down 3 3/4 cents at 678.5. March wheat down 3 1/4 cents at 782 3/4, and March beans down 11.5 cents at 15.26. We did have a sale this morning, 214,000 metric tons of corn to Mexico, but I don't think that'll have a major impact out here. Crude oil is currently down 70 cents a barrel. The U.S. dollar is up 67. In general, it kind of looks like a risk-off day here. Silver's down 36, gold's down $20 an ounce. The Dow looks to be 138 lower, so we don't see anything particularly positive out here. The reason the beans are down so much is we've got drier weather in northern Brazil, which they need to get the harvest really in gear, so it's almost perfect. And southern Brazil, where they need some rains, looks like they're going to get some very significant rains. So I think that's the main pressure, plus just the general harvest pressure that we're going to see from Brazil this time of year. So I just don't see anything that's really that friendly out here. We're kind of in these ranges, haven't been able to bust out one way or another, but I think the big pressure will come on corn and beans. Wheat ought to hold up fairly well.
And that's Mark Gold with Top Third Ag Marketing. Now, is there more at topthird.com? Again, the website to visit is topthird.com. Do remember, though, the trading futures and options involved may not be suitable for all investors. Do consider these risks before investing. Francis Agrimeyer estimates the 22-23 wheat exports outside the European Union at 10.45 million metric tons, down from their previous estimate.
I'm here with some guys from Nebraska Realty's Land Division, Vice President Brian North and Associate Broker Nick Wells. Nick, you just joined up with Nebraska Realty after owning your own brokerage. What do you feel makes NR Land the right fit for you?
NR Land's resources, national exposure when representing sellers, and a partnership with the best team in the real estate industry.
That's fantastic input, Nick. Brian, what do you feel sets Nebraska Realty apart from the other land brokers?
Great question. First and foremost is our staff. We have such an awesome group of people working on our team. Both Nebraska and Iowa farm-raised agents with ag backgrounds that are not only highly knowledgeable, but they also live that lifestyle. When you're passionate about rural life, it really shows. Secondly, we are a family-owned brokerage that has become one of the largest in the nation. We utilize nearly 1,000 agents, the MLS, as well as our partnership with Auction Time, and multiple other marketing outlets that give you national exposure you will not find anywhere else.
Check us out online, nebraskarealty.com/land, for all our listings and contact info.
Clay Patton back on the Rural Radio Network. Now it's time for a look at the factors influencing the livestock trade today. And joining us from Frankfort, Kansas and Country Futures, it's Jerry Stowell. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, Clay. We are seeing pressure on the outside with S&Ps down 20, dollar index up 66, crude oils trading 62 lower, and Dow futures indicating 140 lower. Last night's lean hog index 75.18 up 54, and the pork cutout value rose 14, 81.88. We've had two pretty good days here. Closes in the hogs. We'll just call them mixed, a little better when we open up here at 8:30. Cattle complex, the latest feeder index 183.06 down 27. Choice beef cutout value last night 272.06 up 211. It was very limited, if any, cash fed trade. Iowa reported 450 head yesterday near 160 and 254 in the meat bid to grid. And the feedlots have a taste of this, waiting till right at 1 o'clock on Friday and getting higher prices. And that very well could be the case again this week. Cash has a firm footing to it here. Futures, however, are out in front of the cash. They're trying to price in where this cash market's going. And April's in that 65 area represent resistance for now, and may very well be telling us that's where the cash is headed. Seasonally, futures tend to top this time of year and break about 3 or 4 weeks. We'll just call the cattle mixed here when we open at 8:30.
And that is Country Futures with Frankfort, Kansas. You can always learn more at countryfutures.com. Again, it's countryfutures.com. To remember, though, the trading futures and options involve risk of loss, may not be suitable for all investors. Do consider these risks before investing. Your cattle slaughter estimate on the day, 126,000 head. Hog slaughter estimate, 486,000 head. That's a look to the factors on the Rural Radio Network. And it's 8:15 now at 880 KRVN. The factors influencing the commodity trade brought to you this morning by Ward Laboratories and Grain IQ. That's a grain marketing podcast supported by the Nebraska Soybean Board. Subscribe and listen to Grain IQ on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and of course at ruralradionetwork.com. Just shy of 8:16, the one and only Jason Jorgensen on the road, chasing those lopers across the country, but he's still got to check his sports for us next on 880 KRVN.
Marshall Land Brokers and Auctioneers present 181 acres, a unique tract of sub-irrigated cropland, including river accretion land, productivity combined with recreational opportunities, located on the north side of Interstate 80 near Gothenburg. Receive full possession. That's 181 acres now available. Contact Luke Huddleston, the listing agent, at 293-7258. See details at marshallauction.com. That's Marshall Land Brokers and Auctioneers of Kearney.
Pivot control has never been easier. T&L Irrigation now offers a new control panel called Precision Point Touch. It's a full-color, 7-inch graphic touchscreen that's easy to use and gives you lots of great tools to make your irrigation faster and more efficient. Set up your pivots the way you want. You can update your older controls to the new Precision Point control panel too. Call your local T&L dealer or visit TLIRR.com. T&L Irrigation, like no other.
In Edgar, see Shuck Drilling.
The Cattleman's Cup Bull Sale is February 23rd at the ranch near Brewster, Nebraska. Over 65 bulls will be selling, with sires represented, including Myers, Fair and Square, Marcy's Panhandle, Sits Resilient, and more. If you're looking for bulls that are naturally sound, stout, and good-footed, don't miss the Cattleman's Cup Bull Sale on February 23rd at the ranch near Brewster, Nebraska, starting at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. For more information, go to thecattleman'scut.com or like their Facebook page, The Cattleman's Cut. That's quality bred on, not fed on.
And Jason Jorgensen's back with the latest in sports.
Well, despite being 14-point underdogs, the Nebraska men's basketball team went on the road last night and played very well, upsetting Rutgers 82-72. Again, guard Keisei Tominaga was fantastic. He scored 15 of his 22 points in the second half. C.J. Wilcher added 17 points as Nebraska won its first game at Rutgers since January of 2018. The Huskers also have their first two-game winning streak in conference play this year. Nebraska led throughout the second half with an advantage, not dropping below 7 points in the final 10 minutes. Derek Walker also had a big game with 16 points, and Sam Griesel had 12. The news wasn't as good for Creighton. Devin Carter had 25 points as 24th-ranked Providence outlasted 18th-ranked Creighton in quite the game, 94-86 in double overtime. That loss snaps Creighton's 8-game winning streak. Consolation prize for the Eagles coordinators following their Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs was head coaching jobs for Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen. Gannon replaced Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona, while Steichen replaced Jeff Saturday in Indianapolis. That wraps up the annual head coaching hiring cycle that featured just 5 openings this year. Lots of high school basketball action last night for the boys. Regular season play was Kearney over Fremont, and Holdridge defeated Sand Hills Valley in Kearney Catholic, and Gothenburg took care of Holdridge. At the C112, Chase County pulled an upset, knocking off Hershey. At the C29, Amherst and Wood River move on. At the C211, Southern Valley dominated South Loop 55-30, and St. Pat's, they were tight winners over Southwest. At the D18, Blue Hill and St. Cecilia move on. And at the D110, it was Alma picking up a win over Axtell. At the D111, Cambridge and Maywood Hayes Center each played well and won last night. And at the D26, Shelton beat up on Giltner, and it was Lawrence Nelson over Heartland Lutheran. At the D27, Pleasanton down to Anselma Myrna, 63-56, and it was Sand Hills Thedford over Ansley Litchfield. At the D28, it was Overton over Brady and Wilcox Hildreth. Actually, Overton defeated Bertrand, and it was Wilcox Hildreth over Brady. And at the D29, Medicine Valley and Juanita Palisade each picked up wins. Now, in regular season action last night, the Kearney girls winning in overtime over Fremont, 57-52. That is a look at sports. For more, you can find that anytime at krvn.com. I'm Jason Jorgensen.
In farming, you know being early means you're right on time. That's why the Roundup Ready Extend crop system created the Spray Early Weed Control Guarantee. When you spray before or at planting, you can protect your investment and give your farm an advantage all season long. Find the tools and resources you need to spray early and guarantee your weed control at RoundupReadyExtend.com/spray early. Guarantee is subject to program terms and conditions. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
More than $320,000. That's how much Constellation has contributed to 4-H and FFA in the past 10 years in counties we serve. When you choose Constellation as your competitive natural gas commodity supplier in the Agricultural Choice Gas Program, you get great service, a competitive price, and you help us support 4-H and FFA.
This is Martin Schindler, your Nebraska Constellation representative, inviting you to call 402-882-1891 to discuss natural gas commodity supply from Constellation for your ag operation.
This winter's frigid temperatures, wind, snow, and road travel have caused 13 full days of closings at Bruce Furniture, resulting in a huge overstock at all locations. Only choice, clear this inventory immediately with dramatic price reductions store-wide. Must sell over $960,000 of in-stock furniture and mattresses. Famous brands, Lazy Boy, England, Serta, Flex Steel, Ashley, and more. Long-term, no-interest financing, free delivery and setup through February 25th only at Bruce Furniture.
Ice Cattle of Guide Rock is hosting their annual bull and bred heifer sale March 11th, featuring 60 Hereford, Black and Red Angus, and composite 2-year-old bulls and 50 bred heifers. These cattle are bred for the maternal side of the equation: calving ease, gentle dispositions, longevity, moderately framed, and easy fleshing on grass. With PCC and Oldie genetics, they put pressure on their cattle so their problems don't become your problems. Visit icecattle.com or dvauction.com on Ice Cattle's bull and heifer sale March 11th near Guide Rock.
8:22 now at 880 KRVN. Clay Patton back with you as we're sitting back inside the KRVN Weather Center. Just heard from Jake Miller in Culbertson. He said a few flakes falling there, but nothing too much. Hoping maybe the ground freezes a little tighter so that way they can get some hay jockeyed around before the snow really sets in, possibly this afternoon. Upcoming check of ag news and your opening commodity trade is going to be brought to you this morning by Ag XL of Kearney. your liquid fertilizer application solution, and Ag Valley Co-op of Edison. Thank you to Ag Valley Co-op of Edison and Ag XL of Kearney. Their continuing support there. As we look at across, we're sitting on the backside of a cold front, which is bringing in some gusty northerly winds with it at 30 to 40, likely through tomorrow. We've got accumulating snow likely from just north of I-80 into and through Kansas as that low pressure meets up with some cold air masses to start producing some snow. Now we're seeing reports of a trace of snow right now from a co-op observer in Holyoke, Colorado, 1 inch being reported there at the Woodlands High School in northeast Colorado there as well. So looks like that'll hold with us. Areas of Kansas could see upwards of 9 inches. We're going to join the Rural Radio Network for Ag News in 90 seconds.
Hi, everyone. Adam Marshall with 2 upcoming online auctions. March 14th is our large online no reserve equipment auction. This auction will feature equipment from the Dakey estate, including a 2011 John Deere 9670 combine, a 2004 John Deere 8220 mechanical front tractor, and a John Deere 4560 tractor, plus many other items. Call to consign. Then, April 4th is an online auction for farm and construction toys. Call to consign for this auction. We are accepting items now. Learn more about these selling opportunities at marshallbid.com.
Farmers, Ag Valley Co-op is now offering the new Free Price Later program. It's here to help you get bushels off your farm sooner, as bushels will have free storage at the elevator until December 31st, 2023. By doing this, you can eliminate quality concerns and even be able to capture a market opportunity, all with no storage cost. Direct your questions to Brian, Fran, or Bryce at 800-228-1352. Ag Valley Co-op, building tomorrow together.
Ag Excel, your one-stop shop for precision liquid fertilizer placement, has everything you need to set up your implement for liquid fertilizer placement. Whether you're planting, drilling, side dressing, strip tilling, applying starter, 2x2, insecticide, fungicide, or even treating dry fertilizer, Ag Excel has a solution for your needs. Give them a call today to discuss your needs. Ag Excel, 877-218-1981, or visit their website at agexcel.com for a free quote.
Over-the-counter livestock.
Over-the-livestock counter antibiotics will require prescription after June 11th. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Alex Makovic, joining you with a look at the latest in agriculture news. Getting to know your local veterinarian now and establishing a vet-client-patient relationship if you expect to treat livestock in the future, as over-the-counter livestock antibiotics will soon require a prescription, is the advice from a team of Texas A&M AgriLife Extension service experts. They're trying to help livestock owners who are using the feed store to buy some of their antibiotics to administer or treatment themselves. As of June 11th, all of that will change when these antimicrobial drugs will require vet oversight. The new rule by the Food and Drug Administration recommends manufacturers of medically important antimicrobial drugs that continue to be available over the counter and are approved for use in animals to voluntarily bring these products under vet oversight or prescription marketing status. Prescription-only items will include injectable Tylosin and injectable and intramammary penicillin, among others. Well, USDA's February farm income report shows net farm income is currently forecast at $137 billion in 2023. American Farm Bureau Federation economist Danny Munch says all that represents a $26 billion decline from last year.
And that $26 billion decline erases the $22 billion gain that farmers were expected to receive between 2021 and 2022. So a big drop from last year, but we're still above the prior 10-year average, which is a good thing.
He says part of that decline in net farm income stems from increasing input costs.
The report expects farm and ranch production expenses to continue to increase by $18.2 billion or 4% over last year. That's already on top of a $70 billion increase from last year. Much of those increases are linked to marketing and transportation expenses, interest expenses, which are going to increase as the Fed attempts to fight inflation, and labor costs, which are increasing across the board.
Munch also says that farm sector debt is expected to increase to a record $535 billion as well.
Most of that's tied up in the form of real estate debt, mainly because farm real estate continues to increase in value. This really just means that the value of assets regularly being purchased with debt is rising. So it'll be increasingly important for farmers and ranchers to pay down debt and maintain that healthy balance sheet. And that's going to be ever more cumbersome as interest rates increase well into the next few years.
Those comments again from Danny Munch with the American Farm Bureau. More information at the Market Intel website. Well, in case you missed the news, Kansas State University announced that they're awarding $25 million through the State of Kansas Department of Commerce Challenge Grant Program. They're getting that money for an infrastructure project in the College of Agriculture. The Kansas legislature challenged all state educational institutions to leverage private monies with the state funds at a 3-to-1 ratio for facilities construction and renovation projects. Back in December, K-State met that private funding threshold. The infrastructure project will provide both new and improved teaching spaces for more than half of all students taking courses in the College of Agriculture and will eliminate about $56 million in deferred maintenance. From inside the Nebraska Soybean Board Studios, which is brought to you in part by Nebraska's soybean farmers and their checkoff, I'm Alex Makovica, and you're listening to the Rural Radio Network.
Colorado Land Tire Group. I sometimes wonder if these guys even have a home, since you see them all over the Midwest helping motorists almost every day. I do believe Nebraska Land, Kansas Land, and Colorado Land service trucks are better equipped than most of the other guys' shops. Over 60 service trucks dispatched from 54 locations. Find the one closest to you at thetirestore.com.
It's time to start thinking about the invasive weeds that are about to spring up in your pasture. Call Johnson Lake Flying Service about an early application of herbicides. You've relied on Johnson Lake Flying Service in the past for aerial applications of herbicide, insecticide, and fungicide, and you can continue to rely upon them for these services. Save yourself time and expense later by taking care of the weeds early. For prompt service at competitive prices, call Johnson Lake Flying Service today, 308-785-2100.
Hey, this is Tyler with Summit Contracting. Let's talk about grain bins. But one of the great things about working with Summit Contracting and GSI is we can provide you with every component to move, store, and condition grain. You buy a GSI from us because of the service and our crews. We don't just say that we're going to provide you service, we provide it. It's never too early to start a project if it's as simple as a bin this year or an entire greenfield project that takes time to develop and plan. So let's get started on your grain project at buildsummit.com.
This is Vice Chancellor Mike Boehm. I'd like to invite you to hear the latest news from the Institute of Agriculture and Natural Resources by tuning into the weekly IANR update. Listen to the program each Saturday at 9:30 right here on 880 KRVN.
880 KRVN, 106.9 Kearney and 98.5 Grand Island.
Good morning. Clay Patton on the Rural Radio Network. Now with a check of your opening commodity trade. And it's not a turnaround Wednesday. It's a continuance Wednesday as risk-off still ripples out through the broader portions of the market. For the outside equities, it's retail sales data that could signal a more aggressive Fed as consumers continue to aggressively increase their spending in January. For the grain complex, soybeans are making headlines here this morning. That's as we see for the first time this year a negative basis for soybeans in Brazil, with many exporters now offering about $1 below the market to try and encourage grains out to the ports. With that makes Brazil significantly cheaper in the global market. NOPA crush out today. That could give us a little idea of where crush margins stand for U.S. crushers and if that's going to put more pressure back over on soybean oil. March corn, $6.79 down 3. July corn, $6.64 down 3.5. December new crop corn opens $5.95 2.5 lower. March soybeans, $15.25 down 12.5. July soybeans, $15.05 down 13.5. November new crop, $13.72 down 10.75. We have March Chicago wheat, $7.84 down 1.75. May, $7.95 down 1. July Chicago, $7.99 down 1/4. Kansas City wheat though, March $9.06 a half higher. May $8.96 up 3/4. July new crop KC $8.81 up 1/4. February live cattle $62.07 down 7. April $64.62 down 5. June $60.17 down 5. April feeders $91.10 up 20. May $95 up 10. August though $28.02 down 5. April lean hogs $5.85 down 20. June $104.30, 52 cents lower.